Hello. I don't know why I said it. Oh my god. That was weird. I was gonna say, however, have you ever fucking wanted to destroy your entire apartment? And you just didn't. Because you're like, oh no, I can't do that. If you let your anger and your rage just take over, and you just fucking flip everything. Because I get there sometimes. Especially recently, this past week, man. It's been a rough ass week. It's been a good week, but it's been a rough week. So I've been torturing myself. I've been, today's a unique ass podcast. First ever of its kind. A 100% sober podcast. No nicotine, no marijuana, no alcohol, no anything. It's just me. It's just your boy being raw. And yeah, I might get a little irritated at sometimes. I got real mad when setting up this computer, setting up this camera. It was pissing me the fuck off, setting up this microphone. Because it all worked perfectly. Now the camera's broken, now the microphone doesn't want to plug in right. I don't know what the fuck goes on while I'm not here messing with this stuff. We just gotta calm down. Yeah, I've been a little aggro. I've been mostly okay though. That's the thing. Well, I have been smoking a little bit of some green, but that's been helping the transition away from nicotine. But this week I just decided enough is enough, and I can't afford it anymore. It's just a waste of fucking time and money and resources to be drinking and smoking and doing all this shit all the time. I don't have the money barely to fucking survive anymore, and here I am spending I was spending like hundreds of dollars every weekend on alcohol. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Who do I think I am? Fucking Elvis Presley? Jesus Christ. I don't have hundreds of dollars a weekend to spend on alcohol. That shit's dumb. Not to mention that, but all the decisions I would make are fucking god awful. Like, how many podcasts have I made where I'm like, oh, I fucked up again. I drank. I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. But it's a milestone because I haven't been sober since second grade of fucking elementary school, when I was put on medication for ADHD, and I had not been sober since. So I've been working slowly for 3 to 4 years, and I've been trying to slowly become to a point where I don't need substances to make me happy. Because that's the only thing that would bring me happiness or joy before, was just substances. Weed, nicotine, alcohol. I just love to escape my brain. And that's kind of, I think it's part of ADHD, to be honest. We're always trying to escape our brain, because I just started a book by Dr. Gabor Mate called Scattered Minds, and it's about attention deficit disorder and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and how it works, and like what it looks like, and all this stuff, and shit that I never learned in like elementary school. None of this shit. Why the fuck am I not learning about ADHD if the doctor says I have it, and they're willing to give me hardcore drugs for it, fucking meth pills, to fucking subside my ADHD tendencies? The least they could fucking do is explain it to me and tell me what the fuck it is, right? No, they're not gonna. They're just gonna give you the pills and be like, alright, these pills are gonna make you feel real good, buddy. You're gonna sit there and you're gonna focus and you're gonna listen to your teacher and you're gonna shut the fuck up and sit there, and I don't want to see one word out of your mouth. And you comply because you're on these fucking substances. And I had this idea a little while ago that I had written into my phone. Sometimes I'll go back over the notes that I wrote a long time ago for just random shit. Like, I'll just take random notes in my phone. And this one that I had seen in particular, it said that, because I've been trying to figure out what would we do if we were to regulate all drugs, legalize and regulate all substances as we do alcohol. Because I just saw a study out of England, I think it was this week, of marijuana, or not marijuana, but alcohol being the most dangerous substance out of every single one. When you take in the harms associated to yourself and the harms associated to others, alcohol is the most dangerous substance that there is. Even fucking crack and heroin are less dangerous than alcohol is. If you take into those two account, the harm to yourself and the harm to others. That's what they took into account in this study. And obviously, we all know this. Look at what alcohol does. Causes liver damage. It fucking... People are driving, crashing into each other, being stupid. And then you got fucking... It just doesn't make sense the way we schedule these substances. But then, okay, so you want to regulate that. Like alcohol is being regulated. Nobody's making fake alcohol anymore. I mean, moonshiners maybe, but the majority of everybody is not making fake alcohol. We don't have time for that shit. We're just going to go buy it. Fucking drink a whole just gallon of fucking Tito's that we get from the gas station, rather than making a whole gallon ourselves and waiting 5, 10, 20 years for it to ferment and become a solid beverage to drink. And it's just a waste of time. If we can get something legal and we know it's tested and we know it's safe to consume, then why? If we could do that with alcohol, why can't we do it with everything? The war on drugs has been going since the 60s and 70s. What is that? 40, almost 60 years? 60 years probably that they've been trying to fight this war on drugs, and it's only gotten worse, and the budget for it's only gotten bigger. Nobody's saving anybody. Nobody's helping. It's a waste of fucking time. It's so stupid because there's never been a drug-free society once in the history of humans. We have never once been drug-free. We've always used substances, whether it be caffeine or painkillers that we find. There's trees in the Amazon that they know specifically, oh, you got minor pain, you use this tree. You got major pain, you use this tree. And then you just apply the sap of that tree onto your wound, and it heals you. Or not heals it, but it takes the pain away. Like, we know certain things that we could do. We just don't fucking do them because they're not profitable. They're making more money off the system they have set up now. Because they set all this up when all of us were willing to go along with things, and before we all realized that shit was being fucked up. We fucking are just now waking up to all the bullshit that they've been doing to us. I mean, COVID woke a lot of people up to where people are questioning everything, as we should. We shouldn't just... I've never believed in just blindly following. I need to turn this computer, hold up. It's going to distract me if I could see the time, because without nicotine, my brain wants out of here. It wants out, but I can't let it out. Because I was going to record one the other day, but I was tired and high, and that's not a good mix, because then I start to mumble, and I start to not pronounce my words, and I go like a monotone deeper, like, hey guys, how you guys doing? But what were we talking about? So I don't understand why we can't regulate these substances, because Prohibition in the 1920s is a great example for this, and I've said this multiple times. I don't know if it's on the pod, but I always say this shit. Look at the 1920s. They made alcohol illegal, and then it sprung up all these illegal markets where people were trying to make alcohol by themselves and sell it, because people still wanted it. There's still a market for the alcohol. It's just they said we can't have it anymore. That's stupid. That's really fucking dumb. Because if let's say there's 3 people on an island, me, Chance, and Blair, just because those people have been on the pod and we all know who they are. Me, Chance, and Blair are all on an island. And let's say that Blair decides that we're not smoking weed anymore. Nobody's smoking weed. Out of 3 people, one guy says, nah, weed sucks, we're not doing it. Me and Chance would look at Blair like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Who the fuck says you get to decide what we get to do? The government's not here to decide what we get to do. It's here to fucking work for us, not for us to work for it. And unfortunately, we've gotten mixed up in this bullshit where we think that we gotta follow Mr. Daddy Government all around and follow their rules. And yeah, I believe in law and order. Law and order is super important, and I believe that there has to be a structure, there has to be a moral, there There has to be moral obligations that we should follow as humans to stay in a structured society as we would want it. But this shit doesn't work. This shit has never worked. And my main point for all this rambling was, I had this idea that, what if we regulated it, if we legalize it, regulate it, and then we put an instruction manual with this box. I've seen a lot of guy, I think his name's like Christopher or Christian or some shit, Christian Ramsey or some shit. I don't remember his name, but he does a lot of puzzles on the internet, and he'll open up like these fancy puzzles, like wood puzzles and chests that have a bunch of puzzles in them that you pull this part out and you find the key and you can unlock this part, and then you get another puzzle and you fucking read that puzzle and you get it to another puzzle. It's just a bunch of like components to open up this box or triangle or whatever he may be opening in that video. So my idea is, we take this same concept, use maybe a steel or titanium or metal box, right? Somehow we got to find a way to make the box itself free. I don't know how we're going to do that yet. Maybe we find a giant steel reserve, or we use this recycled steel that we already have now. But hey, I got a good idea. How about we use some of the fucking steel bars that we use for prisons and jail cells? There's a fucking idea. Because if we're not locking everybody up for non-violent drug offenses, then we won't need so many damn cells, huh? There we go. Problem solved for that one. So we use the recycled steel from all these jail cells and prison cells that we're not going to be using anymore when we let all these people out for non-violent drug offenses. It doesn't make sense. Those laws don't make sense either. Because, listen, we have laws for if we hurt somebody. We have laws for if we're driving under the influence. We have laws for if we're in public under the influence. What the fuck do we need substances to be illegal for? You're going to tell me what I can and can't do with my own body? Get the fuck out of here. That's the dryer. I'm not letting nobody tell me what the fuck I'm doing with my body, or my mind, or my spirit. Because this is my mind. This isn't you. You're not me. Who the fuck are you to say that I can do something and you can't? Or I can't do something and you can, or vice versa, or nobody can do any of it. Like, what are we talking about here? Alright, but back to the idea. So the main idea is we get this box, a titanium box, steel box, with all these puzzles in it, with an instruction manual. Alright? This is going to be basically an IQ test. Alright? How bad do you want these substances? Are you willing to educate yourself in a manner that allows you to be able to take these substances in a safe and effective way at a small enough dose to where it's not going to hurt you in any way? Even marijuana can hurt your lungs in a huge dose, so you got to watch for that kind of stuff. So it's basically an intelligence test. How intelligent are you? Are you worthy of fucking taking this substance? And the same should be for having children. If we're fucking talking about intelligence tests, I have to take a fucking test to drive a car, but I don't have to take a test to fucking raise children. I can go and fuck some random broad right now. That sounded fucked up coming out like that, but I could go fuck some random chick right now, get her pregnant, and that's it. That's just how it works. There's no regulations. There's no fucking intelligence test or IQ test. I could just do whatever I want. But then when it comes to these certain substances, and now all of that shit is blown out of the water. With that study that the England released, or whatever the fuck it was, the BBC or whatever, that study just blows their entire argument for the war on drugs out of the water, because they're claiming to protect us. They don't want to see it. They're too dangerous for our consumption. We can't do these substances because they're too dangerous, and we can't. We just can't. But then they give us the most dangerous substances of them all. Nicotine and alcohol. And yeah, I love them myself. That's why I'm fucking taking a break from them. I don't want to give them up completely. I never want to give up anything completely to where I'm like, no, I can't. I'm a pussy and I just can't discipline myself to not do it. No, I'm just building discipline right now. I'm giving myself a break and some time to give myself the proper mindset to come back and utilize these substances, because I don't know how to use them right now. I've been using them for so long. Started drinking when I was 14, 15. Started smoking when I was 14 or 15. It's been like 7 years of me just non-stop every day, not drinking every day, but non-stop every day, nicotine. Something in my system has to be there, just every day, or else I was tweaking. And it's not easy because I've had to go through, and I'm sorry I'm talking about myself so much this podcast, because I generally try not to, but this week all I've been had is my brain and my head. I've learned some shit about Vikings, and I've been learning shit about ADHD. I've been listening to podcasts like I normally do, but my brain's been so scattered and so wild that it's just been hard to keep my anxiety in check and to really utilize the information I've been putting in my head. It just started happening towards the latter of the week. My bad. That I've been starting to gain more control over myself, and I don't feel as fucked up, because I felt fucked at the beginning of the week. But I've been gradually weaning myself off. I just farted. I've been weaning myself off, and I realized that it's not just the withdrawal symptoms. I realized, and I told Chance this, that nicotine is basically a primitive version of a hacked Neuralink. It's like a mind control device that's going to make your brain work better, because it makes your neurons fire better. It gives you acetylcholine so that it makes your brain work better and work more smooth and all that jazz. But when you don't do it, it tries to hijack your anxiety centers of your brain, and it makes you tweak. And it's all anxiety. We just don't realize it in the moment, because it feels like a whirlwind of tornado that you're in when you're not having it at the moment. But when you sit there and you just look at it all, it's all anxiety. You're worried about, what if I can't handle this situation without nicotine? What if I do this and I act stupid? Is feeling weird going to affect how I perform here? And your brain's just rapid firing at you. And you got to learn how to calm your anxiety down. I've been saying for 3 or 4 years that I'm going to quit nicotine, and I'm going to slow down on everything, and I'm going to be sober. And it's never happened. I've had times where I've gotten close, and then I quit. Or I've had times where I've gone a few days, and then I quit. And it's just because I have lacked the discipline. Before, I didn't have any discipline. When I was a child, bro, all I made was impulsive decisions. I didn't have a thought. I didn't have any conception of what I wanted to do. I'm just like, that popped in my head. Let's fucking see what happens. And then I'd fucking do it. But that's not the way to live. Because you're not making your own decisions, essentially. You're just letting your brain decide what's going to happen. Oh, that feels good. Let's go do that. Oh, I'm tired. Let's go to sleep. It's time to get up in the morning. It's just all impulses that you're following along, and they don't help you. Well, some impulsive thoughts can help you. I believe that, because sometimes you got to take a leap of faith. You got to know when to make an impulse decision and when not to make an impulse decision. That requires discipline, self-awareness, a lot of things, and that's why it's taken me so long to get to this point. So I'm sure I've said in other podcasts that I'm going to quit, or I'm slowing down, or that's why I switched to Zins, to be honest, because I was quitting cigarettes, and then I quit Zins now. Now I've been chewing gum, and actually my jaw hurts so bad because I've been chewing so much gum yesterday trying to keep my mind off it. Literally, it's about to be the first 24 hours. What time is it? Hey Siri, see if this bitch open. Never mind. It's 8:55 in the morning. In like 2 or 3 hours, I'm about to hit 24 hours with no nicotine. I don't think I've done that since I was a child. Like a legit child. Before I started doing nicotine. That is a major accomplishment. And I don't feel... Like I said, I was about to destroy everything. When I started this thing, I was pissed out, bro. It was weird because... That's what I meant by it tries to hijack you. Because... when I left the gym, I felt fucking amazing. I felt great. No worries, no anger, no stress, no nothing. I just felt great. And then I got here, realized the computer's off, nothing set up. I gotta set all this shit up and then wait for the computer to turn on, turn it back off, and then restart it because there's so much that programs into this computer that you have to restart it when it shuts off because there's so much that has to load and it fucks itself up, so you gotta restart it and then it runs faster and runs as it should. So it's just a whole thing. It's like stress. Stress causes anxiety, and then you're like, and I think that's why the gym's been helping me so much too, because it manages my anxiety. And then it's not like a tornado. The way that Dr. Gabor Mate's book described it, and it was like the best explanation I've ever heard, because the way I described it to Chance, he never understood what I was saying, and I was trying to come up with an explanation. My explanation had been, it's like my brain is the ocean, and it's filled with thoughts. The water is thoughts, right? And then you pour a glass of water into that ocean and try to find that glass of water. That's essentially how I explained it to him. You can't, because him telling me something is going into my ocean of thoughts, and then I have to sort through that ocean of thoughts. I need a second. My brain's always on like a million different subjects at once. I could be thinking about space and history and biology and science and drugs and cars and all this shit at one time. And that's why I like nootropics like nicotine, or I like a little bit of alcohol here and there, or I like to smoke every once in a while, because my brain's just a whirlwind of madness, and I'm getting better at handling it. I wish they had taught me better how to handle it as a child, because all they did was give me medication. They never gave me any behavioral skills. I mean, I guess when I was at Four Oaks, there was this one jackass. I mean, he seemed like an alright guy. I think his name was Nathan. If you're watching this, Nathan, and you remember me, what's up? He was an alright guy. I think he meant well. I mean, as a kid, my perspective of it was skewed because I hated everybody there, but I think this guy meant well. And he would teach us this. I'll show you. It's called Tai Chi. And you're supposed to do this when you get angry, but as a kid, there's no fucking way. I understand, and it would help now because of like breathing techniques and stuff. But like, this is what he wanted us to do as children. No behavioral skills before ever taught to us. This is what we were supposed to do. See, and it kind of helps. It kind of helped me at that moment. It's just a lot of breathing, and you're like pushing the negative energy away and shit. I can't believe I'm completely sober, man. This is kind of crazy. I feel a little weird still. I feel hyped up too. But no coffee, no nicotine, no marijuana, no alcohol, no nothing. Nothing. This is just who I am. You think that I'm just crazy when I'm drinking or on a substance? I'm just crazy, man. I'm just crazy. I've been dealing with my brain for fucking 21 years now. And I always forget that sometimes I'll like meet a new person and I'll explode on them like, this is what's in my head. And it's like a shit ton all set up, like paragraph after paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. And then I'm like, okay, we gotta calm down. We gotta calm the fuck down, because I forget that not everybody knows what the fuck's going on in here. Not everybody has to deal with this like raging fucking tornado in their brain 24/7 of their fucking lives. So I realized a while ago that I'm just like puking all this information. I'm just puking all this information onto people. 21 years worth of fucking information. It's taken me 21 years to get to this level of sanity, and I know I still look insane. I'm like, and I still freak out, and I just like tweaking. I'm just quirky like that. But what were we talking about here? Oh yeah, it's taken me 21 years to get this level of control on what the fuck's going on in my head. This whirlwind of nonsense. So I gotta remember not to just dump 21 years on somebody in like 5 minutes. I've tried to do that before, and people are just like, what the fuck? What is wrong with this guy? That's great. That's great. What else has been going on? I've been struggling a little bit with monies. The whole month of June, actually, because I was calling in at least once a week. I learned my lesson multiple times, but sometimes you gotta learn a different lesson with the same fucking stupid thing you're doing, like skipping work, for example. I've learned not to skip work a long time ago, but then you start to do it again, and you're like, this is kind of fun, and you start to do it more, and then you realize your paychecks are fucking like cut in half and shit. And they look like dog ass, and you can't even support yourself anymore, bro. I went into a fucking hole for a little while. Fucking last weekend I had to sell my stocks. I rebought some, but I had to sell my stocks because I had to make my car payment. Because I was already behind and I didn't want to miss it again. Wealth is what you don't see. That's what I've been learning. And that's why I've been building discipline as well. Because everything I've been doing has been hindering me from saving money. And I used to be so bad at it. And I know what the fuck I've been doing. Or not what I've been doing. I know what I've been doing and I know what I should be doing. It's just I couldn't listen to my brain till now. And I had to go through some rough shit last weekend. I'm not talking to anybody about what the fuck I had to see last weekend. I had to go through some demons. I had to fight some demons. Some old demons resurfaced from the past. And I've been battling them all week, man. Just, and shit I would never talk to anybody about. Maybe I'll talk about it on the pod. But it's going to be like 40, 50, 60 years before I ever talk about it. So, maybe I'm prophesizing. Maybe I'm going to uncover some shit. What are we at here? Let's check. We got a while to go. What else have I been learning? Oh yeah, this podcast that I started the other day, I was talking about the Vikings had settled in North America, not very long and not very much. They didn't scavenge across the nation or nothing, but they settled on the borderlands a couple times. It led me to believe what would happen if I'm gonna grab my phone real quick because I'm gonna ask ChatGPT a question. So I was wondering what would happen if the Native Americans had been taken over by the Vikings and the Scandinavians had settled America first, and then they developed the population, and then the Europeans came over. That'd be kind of wild because they weren't always at war with the Native Americans. They were also they were trading with them, and they would talk to them and shit. But then there would be some times where they'd be in conflict because they would have something that they disagree about, and instead of communicating, which I don't know if they could communicate at that time. I mean, I'm sure they figured it out. If you're trading with somebody, you have to be communicating with them to some extent because you got to know what they want in trade, and you got to know what they're willing to trade for what you want. So, but let's look up this question for ChatGPT. ChatGPT. Let's ask: do you think regulation and education of illegal substances would be more effective than an outright war on them? Because it hasn't worked for 50 years. Let's see what ChatGPT. I am an AI and do not have personal opinions, but there is a growing body of evidence that suggests that a combination of regulation and education may be more effective in addressing the issue of legal substances. Prohibition and the war on drugs has not been successful in reducing drugs use or related harms, and have instead led to a range of negative consequences such as mass incarceration. Bear with me here, ladies and gentlemen. I told you my brain's a little squirrely right now. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna be able to do this. I was second guessing myself and shit. I gotta stop doing that. I can do anything I put my mind to. So can you. You can do anything you put your mind to. Alright, back to where I was at. Consequences such as mass incarceration and increased violence. Regulation and education can help to reduce the stigma associated with drug use, provide safer alternatives for individuals who choose to use substances, and allocate resources towards harm reduction and treatment rather than enforcement. By shifting the focus from criminalization to public health, it may be possible to better address the root causes of drug use and reduce the harms associated with it. See, that's a good idea because most problems come from mental health disorders anyway. That's what Dr. Gabor Mate writes about. I've read his book, The Myth of Normal, and now I'm reading Scattered Minds, and in both books he talks about how he believes that addiction and mental disorders, all of them, OCD, anxiety, depression, all these things come from trauma. Our brain, okay, so get what I learned yesterday was our brain's not like passing ADHD and OCD. It's not passing these disorders genetically. That's not what's getting passed. What's getting passed genetically is a sensitivity to the environment and the people in that environment. So you're more receptive. People like me are more receptive and more sensitive to stimulation, whether it be from other people or from other things around us. We're just more sensitive. And that causes us to feel more as well. But that's what gets passed down is this sensitivity. And through epigenetics, our genes mutating from our environment, it unlocks these certain tendencies. Neurons that wire together fire together. So if a neuron, let's get all weird and freaky here, alright? Let's say that I'm fucking smelling like my grandma's shoes or something. I've never done this, okay? I've done some pretty weird shit, but this is just an example. Let's say I'm smelling my grandma's shoes. And I'm like fucking, for some reason I'm getting aroused. Like I'm this weird dude getting aroused when I'm smelling my grandma's shoes, right? And you bust a nut. And obviously this, I just said this is speculation because this is a weird scenario and I don't know why it came up. Alright, but let's say you bust a nut. This is an example. Then those neurons are going to get wired together. Your grandma, her shoes, and that action is going to get all wired together and your brain's going to be wired fucked up. You're going to be wondering why you're attracted to your grandma and shit. I don't have this problem personally. I've had some weird issues that I've had to get through, but nothing like this. But then you gotta wonder why you're attracted to your grandma and shit. Then you're like, am I fucking stupid? Am I fucked up? Like, what? Is there something wrong with me? And then you start getting depressed and anxious and stressed out because you think there's something wrong with you. Nah, your brain's just wired in a fucked up manner. That's why psychedelics work the way they do. It's because they take all those filters off. They work for all these wide ranges of mental disorders because it's essentially just taking all the filters off the brain. It's like, alright, look at how it is actually. And your brain's like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was. I can't see it clearly like you can. And it's like, yeah, that's why I'm showing you what you can see and what you're not seeing. And then you go back down from the psychedelics and your crazy ass brain comes back. It's like, what should I name this podcast? I don't know yet. We're going to figure that out after this. But I wanted to ask ChatGPT another question. Do you think there should be an intelligence test for humans to have children? Shut the fuck up about all that nonsense. But the idea of implementing intelligence tests for individuals to have children is a highly controversial and ethically complex issue. The concept of eugenics, what is that? Which involves controlling human breeding to improve the genetic quality of the population, has a dark history and been associated with discriminatory practices and human rights abuses. Implementing intelligence tests as a requirement for having children raises significant concerns about individual autonomy, privacy, potential discrimination. It is important to consider the potential for abuse and the implications for social justice and equality. Additionally, intelligence is a complex and multifaceted trait that cannot be accurately measured by a single test. And that's what I was thinking as I was reading this, is that what exactly would the intelligence test look like? Because it's not necessarily that you're going to have like one test fits all. It's like an IQ test. Just because you take an IQ test doesn't mean you're smart. You could be a fucking retard and pass that thing probably. Instead of focusing on intelligence tests, efforts to promote education access to healthcare, social support systems, and economic opportunities may be more effective at addressing issues related to child welfare and ensuring the well-being of future generations. That's a good point. I like ChatGPT's answer on that one. I don't know what else we could talk about. I'm gonna shower. Gonna hit Walmart. I'm gonna get some fucking super glue for this piece of shit camera. Glue it back onto this motherfucker so we're ready to go every time. And I'm probably gonna put this shit in a secure place because it's not working just sitting on a table or just sitting under the computer. We gotta put it in like a legit space. Maybe over here, just somewhere where we're not gonna fuck with it. Because I'm not trying to break this stuff. I want to treat it nice. Obviously, it's not like the best shit in the world. This camera was like $80. This mic was like probably $100 at most. I mean, this stuff's not too expensive. That's pretty expensive, if you ask me. But it's not too expensive. I know I could get another one, but I want to make this shit last as long as possible, or at least until I have a comfortable amount of cushion to where I can buy better stuff without like worrying about it, if you know what I mean. Like right now, I got it set up on screwdrivers, a bunch of screwdrivers that I had bought one day. Cause I was sick and tired of not having screwdrivers in the goddamn house. That shit was pissing me off. I used to have bad anger issues, kids. Used to have bad anger issues. Used to not be able to control myself. I used to have a lot of problems, and I still do. I talk about this every time. What I want to see from everybody is just self-improvement. I want to see everybody do their best and be their best. Also, another thing I've realized this week is how you can tell the difference between somebody who's grown up, somebody you want to talk to is ideally somebody who already has their own identity figured out, knows what they want. Obviously, nobody knows 100% of what they want. But they have an idea of what kind of path they want to start on, at least, right? Somebody who's just bouncing into walls and has no aim, and who's also mimicking everybody around them still, that's like a child, because that's what children do. And I realize this because I've seen other people still doing it, other adults, like fucking from 20 to 70 years old, people are just following like everybody else. Mimicking like children do. We're not developing our own personalities or our identities or the people we want to be. Like, who cares what everybody else thinks? That's what I think. Obviously, everybody does because we're social beings and we have to. But it doesn't fucking matter what they think about. Unless they're trying to give you advice to be better. Who gives a shit? If they're trying to put you down or trying to compare themselves to you like they're better, who cares? Fuck them. Fuck those motherfuckers. Fuck all the haters, man. I don't care if people like this or not. I like doing it. That's why I do it. Like I said before, I didn't even know if I was going to keep doing it. I didn't even know if I was going to be good at it. When I first started this thing, I'm like, hey, I've been watching a lot of podcasts. I've been talking to Chance like a podcast. Maybe I could do this shit by myself. Maybe it'll be dog ass. Maybe I'll get tired of doing it. I'm not tired, though. Sometimes I question if I could do it or like other things like that, but I just like sitting here and talking. And as I get more guests on, like another guy wanted to get on, a guy I went to school with named Ben. He's a cool ass dude. I'm excited and told him whenever he wants to get on, get on. I don't care. I'll talk to literally anybody. I don't care. I just like talking to people. I don't care if we agree on everything. I don't care what your views on anything is, bruh. Let's sit down, have a conversation. Let's settle our fucking differences. And let's come together as a fucking nation and as a people. Now let's fucking do something. Let's do something together. That's what the government's scared of. If we all band together, put our heads together, and we all become one unified nation, as we should be, they're gonna be fucked, brother. I was looking at the time again. Hold on. Yeah, we're almost done. Yeah, but they'd be fucked. They'd be fucked, and they know that. That's why they keep us divided and keep us arguing with each other and keep us angry. But I think I'm going to end this thing. I'm going to go shower. Hopefully my laundry's about done. And then I'm probably going to hit Walmart, get some super glue deodorant. And then, I don't know. That's it, brother. I hope you enjoyed this thing. I thought it was going to be a pretty dog-ass podcast, but it might have been better than a lot of them. Where's my mouse at? Shit. Hold up. Oh. I found it. Alright. Hold up.